I think there's a very easy answer to the question, am I being an a-hole? If you're talking about somebody's looks, and here is the question, did they ask? If they asked, then you're not the a-hole. If they didn't, then I think you're an a-hole.
I don't know. This situation, I kind of see where this person is coming from, and maybe it is a-hole vibes, but I can't really blame them. So she writes, am I the a-hole for telling my friend she's in the same league as the men she calls ugly? My friend, who's 19, female, downloaded dating apps like Tinder and Hinge for the first time about a week ago. For reference, she's the type that always says she wants a boyfriend, wants to do couple things, feels lonely being single, etc. She's also, in my opinion at least, very normal and average looks-wise. Not ugly, not super hot, just all right. Since then, she's been complaining to me that almost all the men on these apps are ugly or don't come up to her standards, and that she doesn't ever match with anybody hot. I asked to see which people she was calling ugly, and so she showed me her likes, and it showed mostly people perfectly in her league, as in moderately attractive guys. Again, not ugly, not super hot, just all right. I told her that these guys were all in her league, and she should give some of them a chance since she always complains about wanting to be in a relationship. She denied that she's in the same league as them and said she's much more attractive than them. I pointed out that in her own words, she doesn't match with any of the guys she does find attractive, so she's apparently not in their league. She's not that hot. She said, I'm an a-hole. Am I?
That is such an a-hole thing to say about your friend. There are some things you just don't vocalize. I mean, I understand like this is a Reddit thread and it's just like anonymous, but honestly, it feels like the corporate people at Hinge were the ones that wrote that prompt, because it is an ongoing thing for people to be like, why is Hinge recommending these gremlins to me as my most compatible? I'm offended every time I turn it on and I'm like, this is my most compatible?
I do think, okay, let's take the marketing out of it and let's just assume that it's honest, right? I do think that if somebody's coming to you over and over and over again and they're complaining about the same thing and complaining about the dating apps, at some point as a friend, I could see you like being at the end, okay, and you're just done with it. So you just throw out like, look, you're trying to shoot way over what you look like. I can see that.
I also just think the dating apps really skew people's perception of what they're attracted to, because the way somebody carries themselves in person is so different. So maybe like when she goes out in person, she's not striking out with guys that she finds attractive, but then people's mind shift just completely changes when you see people as almost like an Amazon wish list, where it's like, you're looking at a person with these different characteristics, and a lot of guys, like they just have so many more options because you have all these beautiful women with filters on the Hinge to where it skews their perception, and the women who are going after like the normally attractive guys are striking out with them because they have so many options of the hot girls using the filters and the Facetune and all that it's just not a winning combination for anybody.
All right, so I know they say like the basis of a good friendship is honesty. You should be able to tell your best friend anything and everything, right? However, I don't ascribe to that. And then in this particular instance, like if she's like lamenting or whatever, like I'm not going to encourage her stay in Delulu land, but I'm also not going to be like, yeah, girl, like you think you're hotter than you think you are. Like I'm there to be a hype woman. I'm there to like, I'm there to be like a support and a hype woman. I'm not there to like knock you down a couple pegs. Like if you think you're that hot, then good on you, girl.
But if you're constantly complaining about not being in a relationship and being single, and that's like all you're talking about, how do you encourage someone to be like, go on one of those dates? You knowing that you're in the same league without being like, you're in the same league.
It's so different for guys. We'd be honest with each other.
I don't think the friend was wrong for what she was attempting to do. I just think it was the delivery. I understand where she was coming from, and I would be that kind of honest with my friend if I felt like my friend needed that kind of honesty. I would have tried to deliver it in a way where it wasn't as hurtful.
I've got two thoughts here. First of all, you said this person is 19, right? Mm-hmm. All right. So when you're 19 years old, you have a laundry list that is 50 things long of what you are looking for in a man, right? By the time you're 40, it's 2.
You get to Abby's age and it's like, must be breathing.
Right.
I'm not there quite yet. Give me 6 more months.
Must be breathing and have floppy brown hair.
Yeah.
So I don't think you guys were part of the Bert Show when we did this before. And I'm wondering, maybe this was just something we could do 15 years ago and you couldn't do it now. But we asked listeners, like, look, if you want us to rate you, go ahead, send us a picture and we will rate you.
Oh, I was here.
Were you here for this? You guys were?
Yes, we were both here for
so
this.
we rated them, and then we put them into categories on the website.
Let me paint a picture.
It was brutal.
Let me paint a picture.
But they were asking, they wanted the input.
You had to go to thebertshow.com, submit your photo, and we would rank you and put you in different houses. You were either going to be a 4, a 5, a 6, a
Harry
7.
Potter?
Dang.
Yes, seriously. And what had
You're a
happened?
Hufflepuff.
It's essentially
You're ugly.
it's essentially what we were doing. So after the show, the entire show sat there. We had TV up like we do in this studio, and we had somebody pop the photos up on the screen, and we sat there and we ranked people, and then we added all the numbers up, divided it, and came up with the average of what that people were pissed.
Look, how can you be mad if you submit it to us and you're like, hey, Bert Show, rank me, and then we rank you? You can't get mad at us for our opinion.
But it was insane because you'd look at the pictures and I might be like, they're an 8, and someone else in the studio is like, they're a 2. And so we would have these weird averages.
That's the issue. Is you submitted thinking you're an 8, and then you get told you're a 4, and I can see where the disappointment would come in.
If you think you're an 8, you're not submitting a picture.
Well, so and your theory was, so we were going to do this. It was multi-leveled and multi-tiered. So people were going to submit photos. We were going to rank them, right? And we were going to do it on the website, but then we were going to have a party, all right? We were going to do an event, and there would be a room only for the 6s. And if you were a 6, you could go in 6 or below, but you couldn't go in anything above.
You couldn't go mingle with the hot people.
No, you couldn't go. If you were a 6, you were not allowed in the 8 room. So we were going to have these individual rooms of how people were ranked, and they would go in that room and try to meet somebody and match somebody.
That's hilarious.
I love this idea again.
I kind of
absolutely.
think
I
it's
don't
fire.
hate it, honestly.
We're going to rate them, and then the audience is going to rate us bottom of the Nielsen
It
ratings.
doesn't matter. Look, I really feel like if you are submitting a picture, then you are open to our opinions. True. Here's what if we were going to do it again.
We're not.
We might.
We make it clear it's based on like looks alone, and you've got a bevy of people with different tastes, right?
Yeah.
It's not about personality or pockets or anything like that. It's literally just the people on this staff and how they perceive people.
If we were going to do it again, you know how I'd want to raise the stakes on it? Is that it's easy to judge somebody by picture and then just put them up online. What if we had to tell them?
No.
So they're on the phone and we're all going around, and then you go 6, I go 8, you go 4. You have to say it to them.
I'm sick that day.
Yeah. I don't want to be a part of this.
I mean, if you're going to if you're going to that's the thing. Like, if you're willing to subject yourself to that kind of scrutiny and critique, then I think we owe it to that person to be honest.
I think so too.
Can we take money under the table to get a 6 to a 7?
I mean, in this economy, sure, why not?
Yeah.
All right, so this is one we should brainstorm, okay?
You're
All right.
really going to? No,
Yes,
we're not.
I think we should. Yeah, why not?
Tommy, do you have any recollection? Because, I mean, again, this was approximately, 15 years ago that we did this. How did it go?
I think I remember you being a 4.
The Bert Show.